Okay, and welcome everyone. As we have already done discussing the first 5 chapters, the 5 chapters are related with the concept of poetry and in which way Aristotle replies the idea of plenty. Okay, and the very first 3 chapters, very first one is what? Very first one is manner of the poetic imitation. For the first very early time, we are going to review the previous classes in a nutshell. Okay, in break, then we will start a new one. So very first one, obviously, that is a what? Media of poetic imitation. Where we have seen that 3 media he has mentioned. That is a what? Rhythm, language and music. Rhythm and music is needed for the flute. Rhythm is only needed for the dance. And language is needed for the literature. For the literature art. Okay? But what type of language he has already mentioned. That is all kinds of language is not needed. That word verse is a formal word. A formal meter is important. Formal meter is important. Verse is not the main part of the poetry, but the formal meter. Okay. Next chapter is what? Origin of object of poetic imitation. What is the object of the poetic imitation? That he has mentioned that. Man in action. Man in action can be defined into 2 ways or 2 groups. One is good, another is bad. Every action, every good thing, every goodness and every badness can be also divided into 2 groups. Into 3 groups. What are they? Either the action should be better than us, or worse than us, or as we are. As we are. Okay. So what does it mean? That the action has 3 forms. One is better, one is worse, or another is worse. The third one is what? The manner of the poetic imitation. The manner of poetic imitation. There are 2 types of poetic imitation. One is action, another is narration. One is action, another is narration. These 3 chapters we discussed in the very first class. Okay? Very first class. Later on what's happened? Later on we have seen that. That is what?
The origins and development.
Origin of the development of poetry. The origin. What is the origin of the poetry? What is the origin of the poetry?
Imitation.
Imitation. From the human being, from the early childhood and their words, very word, they have started of what?
Imitation.
They like to imitate.
Yes.
So we cannot escape. Even whenever we becoming mature, what we are doing, that is our experience. That is also another kinds of imitation. Okay, and what is the development? Gradually we have seen that a gradual development. Development is what? In which way it has developed? We have seen that in a state of trochaic meter, very first time Homer's what? Skills where he used the iambic meter. Except for tetrameter, we have seen that some other meter also used. Okay? And what? Sophocles, Aeschylus, he is the first man who introduces 2 actors instead of
1.
2 actors instead of 1. Okay. And he also, another thing does, that is of what? Reduces the role of chorus. Instead of chorus, he adds of what? Dialogue. And later on Homer develops it, what? He adds more than 1 character. I mean, now the characters at least 3. Okay, at the same time he adds of what? A scenery. Background. There is a background scenery. Okay? And later on we have seen that tragedy and comedy has been also rise out. In this way we have seen the development of poetry. So we can say that chapter 4 has 2 portions. First one is of what? Origin of poetic imitation, and second one is development of poetry. Similarly, we have got 2 segmentations of chapter 5. First part is what? Rise of comedy, and second one is a comparison between epic and tragedy. What regarding the rise of comedy, Aristotle claims that it is actually obscure, ambiguous to him. For what reason? At the early stage, no critic has actually emphasized on to writer to critic emphasize on the development of comedy. As a result, it is very much difficult for them to understand, to mention when it has started actually. Later we have seen that there is some similarities and dissimilarities. He mentions that all the characteristics of epic you can find where in tragedy. But all the characteristics of tragedy you cannot find in comedy, in epic. Sorry, in epic. Okay.
Yes.
Another thing we have got that the dissimilarities of what? Both are similarities of what? Both are dealing with a serious matter. Serious matter. But the length is different. Whereas a tragic must what? Complete within revolution of the single 24 hours or to some slightly extended. Okay? Okay. Whereas in case of epic, it is not necessary to complete very short time or in short time. It can cover more than a human's life.
Yes.
Or more years. Okay? And another thing is that of what? Another thing they have already mentioned there. Can anyone mention what are the differences they have? In case of dictions we have seen also there is some big difference. Anyway, today we are going to start of what? The description of tragedy, and this is the most and vital unique chapters of this book. Again I am mentioning this is the most vital and unique chapter of this book. The previous 5 chapters I have already mentioned that these are the reply of Plato's concept of poetry. He rejects the imitation of poetry, Plato's, but here he starts giving his own opinion about tragedy. The definition of tragedy is given here very much, and its component also be discussed. Okay, one by one you can understand what tragedy is a representation. Got the line? Tragedy is a representation of an action.
Yes.
So it is also come from where? The very first chapter, that tragedy is a representation of action. What does it mean then? Obviously, man in action. Man in action. So tragedy doesn't emphasize a human being. Rather, it gives the importance on where? The action of the human being. That is owed serious attention. Can you use any oathless things? No. What? That is owed serious attention. Owed that is valuable.
Yes.
And that should be serious. The action should be serious. Okay. Complete in itself. Complete in itself. What does it mean by complete in itself? Everything must be there. I mean, support. Later on we will say that. He mentioned that complete, to be complete, it has 3 things: beginning, middle, and end. Without it, you cannot say that it's a complete in itself.
Yes.
Then what? Of some amplitude. Length of the tragedy is indicating of some amplitude. It should have some particular length. So how many parts so far we have got that? 3 parts. First one is what? Man in action. That action, what type of action? Ordinary. Serious. Okay. Second one is what? Complete in itself. Third one is what? Of some amplitude. I mean the length is given there. Got my point? In language. Enriched by a variety of artistic devices as appropriate to the several parts of the play. Okay. What does it mean that the language enriched? I means what? To form it, to present it, you need some ornament. Artistic languages, ordinary language. I mean what? Grand language, grand style must be used there. Royal language must be used there. Okay? Poetic diction means of what? Selected language which can be appropriate with the matter. Not the ordinary language can be used. Clear?
Sir, nowadays we are finding that in some dramas or some
yes,
the local languages.
Yes, I got your answer. I have already mentioned. I will answer it later on. First of all, second of all, we are talking about the Aristotle's ages and previous ages ideas. Okay. Whenever we'll go to the next text, I mean previous to the previous to Shakespeare, written by Samuel Johnson, will answer everything. Okay, you will get the answer. Okay, and another thing is that the local dialect which we are seeing in our local movie or the drama, it is not actually, it is questionable as well. Okay, to some extent. Anyway, then upward, this is the another part. How many parts of what we have got? 4. Fifth one is what? You will see that presented in the form of action, not narration. So, in the third chapter we have seen that everything must be presented, okay, the drama must be presented in action, not in narration. Only the epic. In the 5th chapter we have seen that mentioned that epic must be presented in narration, but tragedy must be presented in action. Okay, similarly, in the definition, Aristotle also mentions that what? Presented in the form of action, not narration. By means of pity and fear, language, bringing about the purgation of such emotion. So, the 6th one is the purpose of the tragedy. Why you need to present that tragedy? That is what? By means of pity and fear. Bringing about purgation. Purgation means what? Purify. To purify something else. To remove of what? Such emotion. When you will cry, when you will see that something is like you, something is like you, same categorized, when you will see in that time you will cry, you will start it. Clear? You will start crying in that time, otherwise not. So, how many parts of the definition?
5.
5.
Last one.
Obviously 6. Obviously 6. Can anyone mention step by step the 6? You can see the book if you want. What are the 6 parts?
Number 1, it should be representing action.
Man in action, that should be both serious attention. Both serious attention. Okay. Then complete in itself. Second part. Next.
Then sir, it should have that some amplitude.
Amplitude or amplitude.
Yes.
Okay. Then
language.
speech language or royalty language or something.
Okay, that is called of what here he mentioned what? Artistic devices appropriate to the several parts. Artistic and several, it should be matched. You cannot select unnecessary words which is not matching with your idea. But that should be matched with each and every part, okay?
And sir, it should form in action, not
and
narration.
not in narration. This is the 5th one. And last one?
Last one was sir.
That means pity, fear.
Pity and fear. Not actually like that. That is what? By means of pity and fear, bringing about the purgation of such emotion. Such emotion you have, or someone else, the audience has. Your intention is to remove this. Frequently you have seen that in our country also it is all saying in which way? Why we need to entertain the movie or drama? Because it reflects our own society. It reflects our self. After seeing the drama or movie, what? We can understand where the problem lies. In which way we can change our mind, our activities. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
That's why it is important. Now, one by one, we will. The 6th part will also discuss. At the same time, it is not enough. This is the definition. But to form the tragedy, you need some elements. Some elements. What are the elements? These are one thing. First of all, he explains about the poetic diction. Okay,
Yes.
By language, that is. Enriched, I refer to language possessing rhythm and music or song, and by artistic devices appropriate to the several parts, I meant that some are produced by the medium of verse alone, and others again with the help of song. I mean, support in the very first chapters we see that sometimes we need only the verse is enough, formal verse is enough, formal meter is enough. Sometimes you need a the combination of song, rhythm and the other. I mean, support separately you can use it and you can use it in combination or individually. Okay. So what is poetic diction or artistic devices? It is also explained in the few lines. Have you got it?
Yes.
Sir, I have some problems.
Yes, please.
Sir, there we have learned that we will find everything which is in epic in tragedy.
Mhm.
But all the materials of tragedy we won't find in epic. But sir, there in epic it should be narration.
Narration.
Here it's action. Sir, then how that epic came to tragedy? I'm just confused.
Which one? Which can
Sir,
be?
in
Which can be tragedy? Epic.
epic, how can the materials of epic can
Oh,
exist
so
in tragedy?
I got the point now. I got the point. You wanted want to know as tragedy is an action, must be present in action, whereas epic must be present in narration. But you know that whenever you present something in action, in the time here he mentioned that what the formal meter words is important.
Yes.
This is also needed. It means the what whenever you want to apply the words, what does it mean? The narration is automatically come through the dialogue. I mean so what when you are reading a poem, you need not what act there,
No.
but in whenever you are performing on the stage, you are what doing both.
I have to read the dialogue.
I mean what is important? The gesture preparation. Sometimes you see that whenever we have seen that when a death news is what broadcasted, the presenter always becoming what comments to that, and seems to be that she is about to cry. She is about to cry. Her appearance, her action has been changed. That means what? Whenever you mingle what narration with the action, it impacts the audience much. Got my point?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for your question. Now, since the representation is carried out by men performing the actions, it follows the first place the spectacle is an essential part of tragedy, and secondly that this must be song and diction. Okay, we can skip these few lines because there are some reasons. Next step. In tragedy, it is action that is imitated, and this action is brought about
By agents who necessarily
by agents who necessarily display certain distinctive
qualities.
qualities both of character of and of thought, according to which we also define the nature of the action. In which way you can identify, you can what? Trace out the action. It is given here, okay? Later, what he says. Thought and character are then the two natural causes of action. Thought and character. What is the character? Here in the class, you are the character, I am the character. Our interpretation, our philosophical interpretation, that is of what? Thought. Why thought is important? Because our intention is to what? To purify the such kinds of emotion. So in which way you can purify or bringing what I should say in the definition purgation of such emotion. How you can purgate the emotion? How? Through the thought. Without having the thought, you cannot do it. Is it possible? তুমি যাই কিছু করো না কেন তোমার যে প্রেজেন্টেশনটা আছে you want to express it, you want to what transmit it to the other, you need a technique. দরকার আছে না? A technique comes from where? From your thought. আমরা বলি না যে the movie has some fixed ideas, fixed aim, but what is the aim actually? This is the reflection of your thought. Okay, he describes everything in detail later on, one by one. Then about the two natural causes of actions, and it is on them that all men depend for success or failure. Obviously, all men depends on success or failure. Either you will be successful in your life or you must fail. You cannot say that, sir, I have both. Either you successful or you failure. Step by step, because it depends on your what particular aim or goal. The representation of the action is a plot of a tragedy. So definition of the plot is given here. The representation of the what? Action is the plot of tragedy. For the ordered arrangement of the incidents is what I meant by plot. So what is a plot? If you ask in a very brief way, we can say the arrangement of the incident, arrangement of the incidents. arrangement of the incident. Where you will get the incidents? In the action, action. Okay. Okay. Next one. Character, on the other hand, is that which enables us to define the nature of the participants and thought come out in what they say. So you have seen that who is the character? He defines about the character. To whom you can say the character? Character is that which enables us to define the nature of the participants. I mean, so what? Here you are the character, I am the character. For what reason? You can define. I can define the audience, or you can define about me, or the something else. What does it mean? You have the role. Anwar, is it clear? Next of what? Thought comes out in what they say when they are providing a point or expressing an opinion. An opinion, obviously. Thought means of what? How I can understand your thought. When you express, when you exchange some words, you what? Leave some words. Through your emotion, through your expressing opinion, through your activities. I mean, so what? The reflection of your activities, the reflection of your what? The feedback of your opinion is nothing but the thought of a character. Clear? So far we have seen that he has defined three things. One is plot. Plot means what? Can anyone define? Can anyone mention?
The place where the drama helps, that's the plot.
Arrangement of incidents and in action. Okay? And what is a character? What is character?
The people, those are performing, each and everyone is the character.
That is not the
Playing the role.
playing the role. Playing the role. You have seen that characters is that which he enables us to define.
Yes.
So means the word. Your role is important.
Nature of
For example, Macbeth is a character.
Yes.
If I act as a Macbeth, I am not the character. I am not the character. Because what is given there, just I am performing their work. Who is a character? Macbeth is a character because he defines the human psychology. He reaches the psychology, intention of something else. Okay? That's why Macbeth is character, not I am the character. I am an actor.
Yes.
I am not a character. So character and actor are not the same. Thought means of what? The reflection of your ideas, reflection of your thought, reflection of your opinion, in which way you are exchanging with other people. That is called the what? Thought. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Necessarily, this is important, because here you will get the 6 basic elements of a tragedy, or we can say the basic components of tragedy. Okay? What is it? Necessarily, every tragedy has 6 constituents. What are they? Which will determine its quality. I mean, so what? These 6 elements can only determine the quality of a tragedy. So, what do you think then? Whether they have the much important role in a tragedy or not?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Without having this, you cannot form a tragedy as well. Okay? They are. First one is what? Plot, character, diction, thought, spectacle, and song. Can anyone repeat it?
Yes, sir.
First one, plot, character, diction, thought, spectacle, and song. Thank you. So now he defines one after another. Okay? Of course, to represent the media. To represent means what? To means what? Plot and character. Media, in which the action is represented. The action is represented. Obviously, to the character, to the plot, you will present the action. Because what is plot? Arrangement of the incident. Incident is what? The action. The activities of the character. Character means what? Who can change, who can define you. The action. Okay? That's why these are the media of action. Next one is what? One involves manner of the representation. What is the manner here actually? involve diction. Okay, and 3 are concerned with the objects of the representation. Last 3, rest of the 3, I mean some word, thought, act, spectacle, and
Song.
you have seen it. These are called of what? Objects of the representation. Object of the representation. Beyond that, nothing further is required. So, if you want to add something else for the best quality of tragedy, you need not anything. You need a what? These 6 elements. What are the 6 elements? Plot, character, diction, thought, spectacle, and song. Okay? Can anyone mention the 6th part of the definition? You can take the help from both if you want. No, I am asking the 6th part of the definition of tragedy.
First to represent the action.
Represent the action. That is serious or attention. Okay.
And one represent
Then anyone what? Complete itself.
involves
Then what? Some amplitude. Fourth one is enriched language or artistic devices appropriate to the several parts of the tragedy. Then of what? Present in action, not in narration. Last one is what? By means of pity and fear, bringing about the purgation of the emotion. And what are the 6 basic and essential components of the tragedy? First one, plot, character, spectacle, and song. This, okay? So this is very easy. Easy. We can understand. You have told sir, criticism is very difficult. I think not. You have seen that in the classroom we are doing everything. Huh? Like a chorus. They must mention it because of why? Because they have no tail, so they advise you to cut your tail.
Oh, I see.
You should be at like what? Like an old fox. He is wise.
So imitation.
He is wise. Yes, imitation. He is wise. What is the key? Fox without tail. He is the fox is clever. The fox is clever but not wise. Whereas the old fox is wise, not clever. So clever and wise is not the same term, okay? So you should try to be wise. Is it difficult, Joel? No, it's easy. We are repeating here. We can easily right now. If I
understand one line.
One line. Which one, please?
This line is tell us a song is a term whose sense is obvious to everyone.
Obviously. Terms later on we will discuss it in detail also. The role of the song, and spectacle. This is the less important. These are the essential part, but the less important part. Okay, less important part. For example, this is what you can make it change how you want, but can you change this with your fingers?
No.
Can you change your eyes?
No.
If you want, you can. What does it mean that song is also like that? It can what change. If you want, it depends on what? Depends on your situation, fact, in which way you are going to present them. Got my point now? Okay.
So what is the meaning of the spectacle?
Spectacle. You are spectacles. Like Toshma. She has her glasses. I mean some backgrounds. Okay? Background banners we have already mentioned in the last class. Yeah? Not audience. Audience is a different background.
Reflection test.
Background things, okay? We mentioned sometimes stage direction is also related with it, okay? Then what of this? To represent the media in which the action represents already we have done. Beyond them, he will say beyond them, nothing further is required.
Background setting
Setting up what? Not in the fourth chapter we have read that there is some of what? You need some what? Background scenery. Background scenery which speaks much. Why the scenery is important? Sometimes I have seen that in satire you have seen that I have shown when you are in the last class I have shown images of what? In a question who is in relax.
Yes.
Why I have said there? Can anyone tell it? because I have said it at the end of the class. It means of what? As I have explained in details. So now you have no confusion, you have no ambiguity.
Yes.
You are relaxed now. Okay? So it means of what? It indicates that one. So every picture, every spectacle has the individual voice. Got my point? Okay. Next. For all plays alike possess and spectacle, character, plot, diction, song and thought. Everyone you will get these things. Okay. Next para is also important.
Sir, you became very fast.
I became very fast.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
And we need more.
Should I take a short break?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.